The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to the Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
So, what are we smoking this week, Brad?
This week we have the Espinosa Murcielago De Oro.
Yeah, this is their new TAA exclusive. It's kind of a remixed version of their Murcielago cigar, where the original comes with a San Andreas Maduro wrapper. This one has a San Andreas Claro wrapper over Nicaraguan Jalapa binder and Nicaraguan fillers. Handmade in AJ Fernandez San Lotano factory in Nicaragua.
Yeah, of course AJ would have a factory. How many AJ factories are there?
I don't know. I think they're like all just...
It's like, oh, you've got soil great for producing cigar. AJ factory.
The box is kind of cool, too, because it's got these, like big... It's just black with, like, these two golden eyes. Kind of look like, I don't know, snake eyes or something. And the band is this, like, crazy bat, like, golden bat band. I'm like... Looks like, yeah, if they ever come out with a new Batman movie, this would have been, like, a good cigar to pair with the Batman.
Yeah, well, I mean, Murcielago, that is Spanish for bat.
I thought that was, like, where Trump lives.
Well, I mean... Whoa. Does that mean Trump is Batman?
I mean, he has the budget for it. I don't know if he has the physical skills necessary, but he could probably afford to be Batman.
Have you ever seen Trump and Batman together?
Now that you mention it, no, I haven't. Oh, shit. Oh.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think there's a certain level of physical dexterity and... Yeah, that may be lacking.
You can't be living off of McDonald's and Diet Coke and be the Batman. I'm sure there's like, you know, a diet and a physical regime necessary to to pull all that off. You can move that ashtray closer if you want.
With enough money.
Anything is possible. Yes. That's why I accomplished nothing. I got no money. So we're going to be talking about some evil shit this week. Rising, in fact. We're talking about Evil Dead Rise, the latest chapter in the Evil Dead saga, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, I would say at this point, you know, definitely a saga.
And if you've got to fight off Deadites, you should probably call them Strikeforce. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Promo code Cigar Nerds for 20% off your order. Get you all jacked up on caffeine when you got to fight off the demons. Maybe that's how people get possessed. They're under-caffeinated. Because I'm definitely under-caffeinated. I could probably get possessed quite easily at this point.
I kind of feel like it's not all that difficult. Like, you know, once a Deadite, you know, has you, you know, in their grasp, I feel like it's kind of game over at that point.
And it's like, never the fucker who reads the book that gets possessed. It's always just some random fucker that's like, no idea what's going on. It's like, you know, at least if you're going to possess somebody, you should possess the person dumb enough to read the book.
Or maybe the Deadites are like, our master has summoned us. We must protect master.
Oh, shit. That could... Plausible explanation. But with that, we'll get right back into it. And welcome back. It's time to get evil. Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn.
Yeah, this wasn't the quirky, you know, kind of B-movie-ish, you know, Ash vs. Evil Dead or, you know, Army of Darkness. Like, this was straight up big budget, you know, balls to the wall, dark, glory, claustrophobic, and, you know, just...
Yeah, it's... As of this recording, budget 15 to 19 million has made 114 million so far. So yeah, we're gonna get probably more of these. But yeah, it's... I don't know, you watched the 2013, like the last one that came out, and they definitely have gone less humorous and more like we're making like legit horror movies. But
well, I mean, I think with, you know, you had Ash vs. Evil Dead. Now, you know, to some dismay, the Ash character has sort of been, a little bit removed from things, and it's now like, oh shit, like, I'm no longer that cheesy B film, with Sam Raimi, and just, dude.
But at the same time, it's like, because when the last one came out in 2013, they were like, oh, this looks like a reboot. It looks like, and then the director is like, no, this is not a reboot. This takes place in the same universe. It just happens at a different time. And kind of the same with this one, where this one doesn't really mention the 2013 movie, but that writer and director is like, no, this is a continuation. This also happens in this universe. So I'd like maybe eventually, and they said, now they're kind of wanting, instead of doing like every 10 years, like maybe every 3 or 4, doing like another chapter of this, and as time goes on, maybe kind of, tying up the stories a little more, because there's one interesting thing in here that, and like I said, we're going to be spoilers, where, like most Evil Dead movies, there's always a recording of some dumbass reading the book. And he says, for the first time I think I've heard anywhere, where it's like, I've acquired one of the 3 volumes of I forgot what they called the Necronomicon in this one. But that kind of theory would make sense if, let's say, the book that Ash dealt with is a different book, and then the 2013 incident is another volume, and then this is like a third completely different book. That kind of makes sense that the book is not showing up in all these places.
And I think that's too, why the covers are vastly different.
Yeah.
And, the demonic presence that is summoned is also, quite different.
Yeah, where the one Ash keeps summoning is a little more Loki-esque. Like, they like to fuck with you. Where, like, the last 2 have been, like, the fucking dark one.
Yeah.
Like, this one worse than even, like, the last one. And the last one was pretty bloody and nasty.
But yeah, before we start spoiling the shit out of it, for folks that are, on the fence of, well, I don't know, you don't really like comedy with your horror like a lot of the older Evil Deads. Like, do you even remember the 2013 Evil Dead movie? I mean, I remember watching it, but I can't tell you, outside of Grandma Tits and, that sort of thing. Like,
that was the 2013s. The early 2010s. Like, every movie had Grandma Tits. Yes. I'm glad they've gone away from that now, because there was no Grandma Tits in this one.
But, this one here, I definitely feel like it's going to make a bigger impact. But then, too, to your point, not waiting a decade, Yeah,
because I mean,
Bruce Campbell is not getting any younger or anything, and I definitely still feel his influence in this film.
Well, him and Sam Raimi are executive producers, and he does have a cameo in this.
You just don't realize it until you listen closely. That yes,
yeah, during that initial, and we'll kind of get into but that recording I was talking about, like, there's 3 records. And one of, the first one, the guy's like, I guess, presenting to some kind of council, like, hey, I found this book, like, I would like permission to study it. And some guy, and people in the audience were like, And some guy's like, dude, don't do it. Like there's a reason it's called the Book of the Dead.
You're going to your church parishioners, like, requesting, like, well, if we're the church and we're here to battle, evil, like, we should understand the evil we're up against. And it's like, what if we just leave that door sealed and don't open Pandora's box?
But the guy that is warning them is Bruce Campbell, and he sounds like someone who knows a lot about the Necronomicon. And the writer-director of this is like, no, I specifically requested Bruce do that because, in my mind, that's a time-traveling Ash Williams. Even though this record's from the 1920s, we know from, Army of Darkness, he's no rookie at time travel. He's, so having him like pop up in the 20s at some point and be like, no, you idiots, don't be fucking with this book, would make perfect sense, and tie it into the universe if they ever kind of bring him back to the, because originally there was supposed to be a sequel to the 2013 which was gonna, I think, actually have Ash in it with the new Last Girl, which is kind of funny because in all our favorite slasher horror movies, there's always the final girl trope. And his name is Ashley Williams. He's like the ultimate final girl.
Yes.
But I say, even before we get into like specifics, the feel of this movie was so different. It was a lot more. All the previous incarnations, it's been stupid college age kids getting into, trouble in the woods. Where this, it's set in a apartment complex, and the people having to deal with the haunting are teenagers and kids, and like young single mothers and soon to be single mothers. So like the stress of was like ramped up to 11. It's one thing being in the woods and you're like, we can't go anywhere, we're lost, but like, no, we're literally on the 14th floor of an apartment complex. Like, there's no way out, and we're stuck here with our kids. And just kind of, I don't know, just like, let's just turn the danger level up, like, higher than it's.
Well, I mean, I think, so, all right.
Maybe since I'm getting old and I have like kids now, that it's like, oh, kids are in danger. This is stressful. I didn't give a fuck about the college kids getting killed.
But I mean, the way that the film opens, though, like, it's such a great misdirection because, you see, oh, okay, we're back in the woods, we're at a cabin, there's the lake, and
I like the camera tracking shot. This like the famous Evil Dead camera shot where it's like you never see the monster, but you see the monster like zoom in on somebody, and it turns out it's just a drone.
Yeah.
Some dude with a drone like gonna buzz the tower and like scare this chick that's reading her book on the side of the lake.
But, I mean, those little throwbacks, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Which, dude, I'm all for campy and cheesy when it comes to horror, whatever, I mean, but, that was so great to just open it that way, and then when shit starts going sideways, shit really starts going sideways, and it doesn't really let up.
No. And it's like, yeah, because how we talked about the trailer on here, and they show none of that, cabin in the woods shit in the trailer. So when the movie started, I'm like, the fuck is this?
Are we in the right movie?
I was like, when does this take place? I don't see anybody I've seen in the trailer, because like, the two friends in the woods, and their friend like, oh, she was sick, I gave her some like Klonopin to like knock her out or whatever, because I don't know, something made her sick last night, and then we know what made her sick, the Evil Dead. And her friend goes in there to check on her and starts freaking quoting the damn book she's reading, and fucking grabbing a girl's like ponytail and fucking scalping her. I was like, oh shit, this movie's starting off all right, we're in. And then decapitating a motherfucker with a drone.
See, and the fact that I can't grow hair just makes me appreciate that. Although if somebody grabbed my beard and like,
yeah, I haven't seen that in a horror movie, and that just makes my skin crawl. You just some dude getting his friggin' jaw ripped off by his beard.
But I mean, just the damn title crawl though, like where the lady, after her possession rises from the lake, and it's like Evil Dead Rise, and you're like, oh shit.
And I think it's like the first time we've seen like Deadites in the sunlight. Like all the other movies take place at night.
I think
Dead by Dawn is a famous quote for a reason. So it's like this shit happening in the daytime, just I don't know, just makes it a little more like fucked up.
Well, I mean, I think with the higher budgets, granted, like, I get the older films and everything else, you're kind of using darkness,
to hide bad makeup and CGI.
Exactly. Where this here, like, dude, I mean, just fucking Sam Raimi is a fucking legend when it comes to effects. And the score of this film, too. Like, it's so subtle, but, I don't know, it just far surpassed like anything that I was thinking, because I wasn't accounting for, all right, they had a legit budget this go round. And it far exceeded that budget, which I was talking about this last night after we saw the film, and I was like, but then again, what was this movie up against in theaters? Like when I went last night, it was Guardians everywhere.
Yeah, this came out the weekend before Guardians, so there wasn't a whole lot. out that weekend that I can recall. So I mean, I don't know how well it's going to do this weekend now that Guardians is out, but it had a pretty good opening weekend for not having much to compete with that I.
But then again, like this movie kind of stands on its own. Like, each movie has been
squeaky.
Is that a deadite? Did we just summon something? I don't know. That completely lost my train of thought because I'm like, we got sound effects now. Spooky.
So yeah, this after our kind of fake out with the cabin, we get introduced to Beth, who is a guitar tech, not a groupie. Who apparently has found herself impregnated and goes home to ask help from her.
I hate when my guitars impregnate me. I'm like, look, we were just changing our strings. It didn't need to get weird, all right? I get it. I was, moisturizing the wood, and, well, I guess the wood moisturized something else.
Oh. So, yeah, she goes to seek advice from her sister Ellie, who's played by Ashley Sutherland, and Lily Sullivan plays Beth. But, yeah, her sister is, like, living in a apartment complex in L.A. that has been condemned. So it's kind of shitty. They're like, yeah, they're about to tear this whole building down. We got to get the fuck out of here soon. And apparently her husband had left her, and she's just there with her 3 kids, and shit ensues. I did see a
on top of a repurposed bank, like
apparently the bill, 'cause that's like one of the first things, like the kids tell her that, like, oh yeah, they say the bank is like this building used to be a bank back in the whenever, and it's haunted by the bank manager who hung himself. So if you're walking through with like change in your pockets, he'll fuck with you. So like the little girl who kind of reminds me, Cassie, played by Nellie Fitch, kind of reminds me of 'cause I just watched Aliens again the other night. It kind of reminds me of like the little blonde girl from Aliens, and she's like fucking weird ass kid. She's like taking a broomstick and like cutting it down and putting a doll head on it, and like, what the fuck is that? Like, oh, this is like
Staphne.
Yeah, Staphne. He's like, if the ghost fucks with us, Staphne will protect us. It'll scare the shit out of him.
I mean, that should have hit home with you. You got a lot of creepy dolls in your house.
And I have a bow staff. Just need to combine the two.
What would you call it?
Stickered, like Richard, but with a stick. Oh, but yeah, I did see read an interview with Bruce Campbell, and he was saying that him, Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi, they're kind of working on writing like a Evil Dead Bible that way, because all these like newer movies have been done by different writers and directors, and they're kind of putting together a like where this story would go, logically go in the future. So if other writers and directors like kind of pick up the mantle, they got kind of at least a loose guide to try to guide the story in the way that the originators want it to go. And they're like, and he's also like, we kind of, if this one is successful, we want to start doing these like on a regular basis instead of every 10 years or so, maybe every 3 or 4, kind of like a James Bond movie or something. So we'll see where they go from here. Maybe they'll tie it back in, and Ash will show up at some point. Could you imagine that character in this Evil Dead world? Him like fucking cheesy ass Ash in like a serious horror movie.
Well,
I mean, I want to see that.
I really could, because as a cheesy ass quirky guitar player, like, hey, my lead technician isn't here. Turns out it's Ash. He's joined a metal band.
Can he play with the robot hand? Well, no, Jackal. Yeah. He plays a chainsaw as an instrument.
Like, exactly. That's. I'm sold.
I just answered my own question. I'm like, oh yeah, Jackal. Yeah, Bruce can be in a band.
Needs to happen. And I mean, dude, we've seen Cybertronic Spree play.
Yeah, if Ultron can play with all that stuff on, like, dude can make it with a chainsaw. Robots can rock. I need to go back and watch the Evil Dead TV series. I think I've never finished like season 3, but it's all on Netflix now. I need to sit down and go. I started trying to watch season 3, and it had been so long since I watched season 1 and 2 that I couldn't remember what the fuck was going on. So I need to go back and rewatch the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think we were following it pretty closely there for a while, and then I guess life just got in the way.
Yeah, I think it was on one of those like channels that we didn't want to pay for another streaming service, and then now it's all on Netflix. So it's like, I got to go back and finish that. So yeah, as you said, they're in a bank. Earthquake, because it's LA and the building's already shitty. So, the kids making a pizza run come back right as the earthquake hits, and a hole opens up, and it turns out the old bank vault's still in the basement. And of course, dumbass kid who's a wannabe DJ climbs into the basement to see if he can find any stuff to like. It's like, Mom needs money. Let's go see what we can steal. And he finds like a couple random ass records, and then so he's a DJ. He's like, oh man, this might be some like sweet hits from the 20s I can mix on, and then finds looks to be a fucking tomb inside a covered in hanging crosses.
Originally I was like, all right, if you got this thing and you know what it's capable of, like, I'm probably not gonna put it in a bank vault per se. Like, can we find a place where less people would be possibly going in and out of, especially having safety deposit boxes and whatnot, and just being like, I wonder what this mysterious room is here.
Yeah, there's like a full-on, like, looks like a tomb in there too. It's like, yeah, dude just going to go get his bonds out of his safety deposit box. Like, hey, what's with this coffin in the corner? Oh, don't worry about that. And of course he pulls out of...
But then maybe, depending on how long that bank's been around...
Well, the recordings were from the 20s, so like I said, I think at one point I mentioned that building was like from the 50s or something, so...
But in the 20s, did we have underground bank vaults at the time?
Maybe. I don't know. It's L.A.
L.A. was kind of on the cutting edge of the gold rush and everything.
Yeah. But I do like the new, like, design of this version of the Necronomicon.
I don't. It's very bitey.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like to be bitten.
The teeth lock on it was like that. I mean, gone is the face from Ash's version of the Necronomicon. This one looks more simpler, but the teeth, that as soon as you bleed on the book, because kid of course scratches his finger on it and a couple drops of blood, and it's like, oh, unlock, and then all the really fucked up drawings in it.
I want to find whoever the artist was. Like, just some of that artwork and everything. I was like, that's really badass. That's probably been in every, like, those are probably sketches of, like, CD albums from, our favorite metal bands throughout the years. But, I was just like, whoa, I want them all.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw a meme, and it was like, Finnish park rangers. They spend most of their day rescuing lost metal bands that were out in the woods trying to shoot album covers.
I mean, it's hard to maintain a sense of direction when everything's surrounded by white.
Oh, speaking of white. A thing that has been in every Evil Dead movie is the haunting always starts with a good old-fashioned tree rape. And since you're not in the woods this time, they had to adapt. I think this might be the first elevator rape I've seen in a horror movie, because unfortunately Ellie goes to do laundry while Beth is watching the kids, and the elevator tries to eat her. Very Shining, especially like later on.
Yes, absolutely. I was just like, holy fuck. Red rum.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that they used 6,500 liters of fake blood in this movie.
I believe it, dude. This movie was gory as shit.
Yeah, especially just some of the I don't know, for some reason like people getting shot doesn't like slow cutting always like creeps me out, and I'm just like, oh, that just fucking looks like painful. Because of course, Ellie, power goes out in the building as soon as homeboy starts playing the records. In the first one is like, guys trying to get permission, and the second one is like, they told me no, I'm gonna do it anyway, so here's my recording of the translation, Kandahar, yada yada yada. And of course, like playing a game of Legacy Betrayal, the hunt begins.
Oh great, there's that fly that we saw. Damn it, Joe, what have you done?
But yeah, them being elevators all fucked up, and then of course the staircase collapses because
earthquake.
In the Evil Dead movies, it's always the bridge gets knocked out, and so you can't leave the cabin. This time it's the
They're on what, the 14th floor?
Yeah, and the only fire escape apparently is in a locked apartment. They can't break the door down to get to it. Two guys with a shotgun and a crowbar can't seem to break into an apartment.
Well, I mean, the old man even said,
better in
hey, everybody's already on edge because of the power outage. Let's not, compound that by adding gunfire to the mix. I mean, he was kind of onto something, but.
And then you got like the weird thug kids, skater dudes who live next door. Hey, you want to come over to my house, watch Freddy Krueger? And, of course, the teenage daughter's like, go fuck yourself. Come on, man. We're going to drink some scissor and watch Freddy Krueger.
Or hang out with your brother. Eat some candy. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots.
I got to tell you, when they're going through the garage and you see the wood chipper, I'm like, there's a rule in filmmaking,
dude. Every horror movie.
Well, it's like not just horror movie, but there's because
every horror movie.
I took some film classes in college for shits and giggles, and when they were like, if you're gonna have something happen in Act 3, you've got to introduce it in Act 1. It's like if you see a gun in Act 1, somebody's gonna get shot in Act 3. So, of course, start of the movie, they drive past a wood chipper. I'm like, ooh, that's going to come back later. And then, of course, homegirl, hides the knitting scissors under the couch because she's using it to decapitate her doll and doesn't want mom to find out. I'm like, somebody's definitely getting stabbed with those scissors later. And I'm like, yep, there they go. Called it. So it's like, yeah, I'm always looking for, weird, if the camera pauses on something for just a little bit too long, you're like, that's going to come back
You
later.
ever stole somebody's fabric scissors?
Oh yeah, they'll legit cut
Dude,
you.
that's a life or death gamble. Or you use your fabric scissors on something non-fabric. Yeah, that's.
I know. I get the fucking kitchen meat scissors. Fucking kid keeps selling them to do art, and it's not fucking art scissors. There's 15 pairs of scissors in this house. Quit using the goddamn meat scissors. Meat Scissors, also a great metal band name. We are Meat Scissors.
Whoa. All right. That just happened.
Oh yeah, but when homegirl comes back and is after she got fucked up by the elevator, and is like, I'm gonna make eggs and just throw in things. And she's like, they're like, you okay? She's like, I had a great dream. I cut you all open and crawled inside. And it's like, okay. But she has that moment of clarity too, where she knows when she's like, it's inside of me. Please save my children. And before she got fully fucking taken, and then just dies.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that this film did is just kind of the inner struggle of, all right, I've been possessed. I've got to use my time wisely. So run.
Oh, when she attacks the daughter with the fucking, because sister's a guitar tech, mom apparently is a tattoo artist, and fucking stabs the kid in the face with the damn tattoo gun after she like jabs it in her own neck. Like, I need some ink. And then fucking starts like trying to tattoo her face. I was like, oh, that fucking. I mean, and that shot of it almost getting her in the eye before it like she turns and it hits her in the cheek, and it's like, ooh, that like tattoo gun to the eye. That's like some make your skin crawl shit. That's like some Jigsaw type stuff there.
Well, you know, people are getting their eyes tattooed now, right?
People are fucking dumb, man.
Like, I'm just like, man,
I mean, I thought like the inner lip tattoo was bad. I don't want anybody anywhere near my fucking eyes with a tattoo gun. I don't care how good you are. Like, no.
Well, I mean, it's not like
I don't want you fucking
artistic.
sneezing or me sneezing. Like, no, get that shit away from my eyeballs.
It would just be like, hey, instead of, white, you now got, purples and blacks and whatnot.
I have seen that before. Scared the fuck out of us. We were, back when I was a cop, we pulled over a lady for DUI. She'd like blown out both her tires and kept driving till like the rims ground down to the axle nearly. And she gets out of the car and her eyes are completely white. And we're like, oh goddamn, it's a vampire or a fucking zombie. And she's like, oh no, I had this like surgery and it's illegal here in the US. I had to go to Brazil, but they basically completely white out your eyes. So this is not contacts. This is like fucking permanent. And I'm like, bitch, you crazy. And you're drunk. You're coming with us.
You're crazy.
Your car has no wheels.
I'm going to need to cuff you, and you're coming to my dungeon.
But seeing that at 2 a.m. is like, oh, fuck, what the hell is this? It's the goddamn zombie apocalypse has finally started.
Thanks for the heads up, buddy.
Yeah.
See where your loyalty lies.
Turns out it wasn't a zombie, so we were good. There was no need to put out a warning.
I've seen zombies. They're all over Seattle.
Those are heroin addicts.
Yeah, it's all fentanyl.
Oh, but when she comes, because they think she's dead, but they can't get out of the building. And then, of course, deadites never stay dead. They always return. That when they're like, she's burning up. Let's put her in the tub. And the water starts boiling, and she like just pops out of the tub and starts spider crawling along the fucking wall. And like the kid's like, Mom, and she's like, oh, mommy's with the maggots now. I'm like, oh, that's fucking shoot that bitch.
Yeah, I mean, even without a gun, like, I don't know, deadites would be difficult to try to contain.
Yeah, because you as much as you fuck them up, you can't really kill them. You just kind of knock them out and they revive. And in fact, we find out later on, the only way to kill a deadite is just complete bodily destruction of the host. So it's like, if there's any part of them left, it's coming back. You're gonna have to.
But it's almost like a, I mean, you said zombie earlier, but like, oh well, she got attacked with a tattoo gun. Yeah, that's because mommy's blood was on the tattoo gun and transferred into the daughter. Yeah,
so they chunk. And I got to give it to Alyssa Sutherland. Her as the deadite lady is just fucking, her manner. She's just creepy as fuck. I mean, not just the like whatever mommies with the maggots, when they like chunk her out into the hall, and she's like, they lock her out of the apartment, and she's like, knocking on the door, like, let me in, come on, kid. Oh yeah, she's like, yeah,
just the manipulation too of I'm sorry. I said some hurtful things. I wasn't myself. I'm better now. Like,
bitch, we've heard that before. Of course, kid's dumb enough to open the door a little bit and gets choked until they chunk her back out in the hallway. But that's probably one of the like most brutal scenes. Because all the neighbors like come to help, and she like even fucks them all up. Even the one dude like tries to shoot her with a shotgun. But it's all shot from, like, the perspective of looking through the little fucking peep window in the door. So you don't even get to see, like, that her just slaughtering people in the hallways. Just kind of running back and forth and, like, fucking blood, like, splattering onto the peephole and shit. I was like, oh, I don't think I've seen that in a movie before. I was like, that's cool as shit.
But that's your only advantage of an apartment. And I'm kind of weird, like, is there like some kind of vampire clause or something where like the deadite has to be invited back in? Because I'm pretty sure those apartment doors. She wouldn't have been just chilling in the hallway. She would have been through that door.
Well, I mean, apparently those doors were, 50s construction was better than today's construction, so it's not like hollow press board. Because, fucking the neighbor and the old man couldn't break into the one apartment with the fire escape with a crowbar and a shotgun. Like, so I guess Deadite, can't kick in the door. She can crawl through a vent after a cat though, but
Yeah, dude, that was Schrodinger's cat.
yeah, cat's like, I'm hanging out up here in the vents, man.
And then it's like, oh shit, it's onto me.
I can't wait for her to pop out with like the fucking dead cat in her mouth, like eating the damn thing. But I don't know. Theoretically, the cat might have got away. We never saw a dead cat. We just heard the cat meow, and the demon like, ooh, I can crawl through the vents. I haven't thought of that.
Oh shit, I'm allergic to cats. We've seen that before, though.
The Mummy. Oh. But yeah, then, they lock mom out, and the sister Bridget, who got tattoo gun to the face, starts getting infected. And when they find her, man, just fucking like squatting on the counter, eating a giant ass wine glass, and she's like, "I gotta kill the bugs in my stomach, like you'd have, because homegirl's pregnant." But yeah, just the fucking when she swallow it and you see like her throat like stretch out with like the shard of glass, I'm like, oh, that's not coming back from that. You're about to shit blood, kid.
I don't know. I think even before that, like, when Deadite Mommy, jumps on her impregnated sister and like she's on top of her, and you have that moment of, her grabbing the stomach, and you're like, all right, are we about to see like,
Oh yeah, I thought we was about to have a fucking like,
fucking fetus,
Kano,
like
fetus
are we
rip.
about to go there?
Oh yeah, that happened once she got in through the vents. But before that, like, sister goes batshit, and of course Stephanie fucking turns into like, broke her staff, and now it's all pointy, and they just like stab her like straight through the fucking mouth, and then brother like fucking wraps her up in blankets and like ties her up in the bed, like just in case. So like, all right, show me what the fuck is going on here. So he finally confesses to stealing the book and shows the book and the records to Beth, and she's like, all right. He's like, I've listened to the first two records. She's like, all right, well, I'm gonna listen to the third record to see if there's some kind of clue of how we can stop these things. But there's no power. She's like, but I'm a guitar tech. So I'm going to build a generator out of batteries and your mom's tattoo gun to power up this turntable so I can listen to it.
2 turntables and a microphone. Where's that?
She's like, all right, I'm going to put on headphones so if this thing possesses me, no one else will hear it. Like, take this knife and, like, go watch your sister. Well, that's the point where Mama starts trying to come in through the vent. And him and little sister like walking through the house to investigate the sound, and you just see like Deadite's sister walk around the corner like with the blanket still over her head, like following them. Like, y'all got a creepy ghost behind you. That was just like the fucking blanket chick just like followed him through the hallway. It was like,
very Michael Myers-ish.
Yeah.
Young Michael Myers with his blanket.
Let's cut some eye holes in that thing.
Deadites don't need to see. They're already dead.
Yeah, then, of course she, and she's chasing him through the house with the knife while, homegirl's still in there, like, jamming out to Deadite radio. No idea everyone's getting slaughtered.
This guy's got a very soothing voice. Seems to be distraught. And it wasn't the message you were looking for.
He's like, I fucked up. Everybody's possessed. I'm probably going to be possessed now. I tried to kill my other priests. Turns out the only way but they kept coming. I buried them in holy ground, and they still came back. Apparently the only way to kill them is complete and utter destruction. If that even works, I'm pretty much fucked here. if you find this book, like, do not read it. Bury this fucker in a bank vault somewhere. Get yourself a boomstick.
But I'm just curious, where do the Deadites go, right? Like, does he have complete and utter destruction?
Well, I think they return to the crazy camera thing that follows people around. Like, you kill the body, like, the fucking, all you're doing is, like, unleashing the demon soul that now can, travel around invisible and find a new host, as we will see later on. But yeah, she comes out of the bedroom and, like, now bro is, like, stabbed to death. But at least he sets her on fire. Tries to take her out with him before he gets put down. And then, Mama shows up for, like, round 2 and does that, like you said, trying to rip we thought we were about to have a fucking fetal extraction moment there. But, of course, the hidden scissors come back into play. Like, little girl hiding under the couch is like, take the scissors and fucking shank Mom.
I'm not a groupie.
Even the old man means, hey, this is my sister Beth. Oh, the groupie. God damn it, I'm a guitar tech. But are you?
I'm really good at the G string.
Guitar solo. And this is where the movie kind of became The Thing. Because they're trying to escape, even though there's nowhere to escape. They're like, all right, we're going to, like, risk this fucked up elevator. At least hide in it if we can't get out. Grab the boomstick and some shells. And then, of course, all the people that got murdered by the Deadites earlier are now becoming Deadites. And then they start, like, fucking becoming, like, a body mass thing.
Well, I mean, I love how, like,
The Thing.
Where... whenever bad shit's about to happen, like, you just see all the pages of the Necronomicon go haywire, and then whatever page it stops on, that's the entity you get. So then, like, this one was just like, all right, now we're just going to be a mass of all, hands, arms, legs, and, whatever. Like,
yeah, I think they called it the Marauder is what that entity was called. Not that they ever actually... I'm pulling that from Wikipedia. Not that they ever actually called that I remember.
Sounds like they got that from Doom. I remember there being a Marauder in Doom.
But yeah, once they get into the elevator, and it's like it starts filling up with blood, and of course the Marauder jumps on the elevator, and it, like, exceeds the weight limit, like too many people in a Dragon Con elevator, and that thing just drops 14 floors. But since it's full of blood, I guess that gave them some, like, shock absorbent. But we get that fucking straight up, like I said, all right, the Marauder is from Thing, and now we're going to rip off The Shining, because when that thing hits the floor and just bursts open and, like, the wall of blood goes flowing out, it's like, I think I've seen this before.
Red rum. That's amazing.
That's where most of your 6,500 liters of blood came from, and then the rest of it's all going to be fucking...
6,500 liters of blood on the wall, 6,500.
And I do like, because... in every Evil Dead movie, you've got to have a Buick. Ash's, like, whatever, 70-something Buick in the first couple movies, even went to the past with him. And in the 2013 version, when they go to what looks to be the same cabin, a rusted-out, wrecked version of Ash's Buick is there. Well, what is the mom driving they're trying to escape in? Like a mid-90s Buick station wagon, still that fucking khaki color, just like Ash's. So I'm like... it's not the same car, but it's still a Buick. It's still pretty shitty looking.
Starting to see some trends here.
Fucking, I don't know. Sam Raimi's got a thing about Buicks.
Well, I mean, that was a pinnacle of vehicle back in the day. Like, everybody strived.
Just that baby shit khaki color. Oh.
Back in the day, you didn't have any other choice.
Yeah, they're living in a condemned building.
Status.
They can't afford a new car. But yeah, the fucking Marauder comes down and starts like fucking Ring Around the Rosie, chasing him around the car. Yeah, and they manage to... Oh, yeah, and they grab a chainsaw and a boomstick. And, of course, they're able to, like, make a hole and get out of the thing, but then little girl gets snatched, and big sister or big aunt has to come back in and save her from fucking just, like, crawling up in the back of that, the shredder truck with the chainsaw. I was like, I just want your little head. I've got 3 heads. I need one more.
These are much too big. I need a much smaller one.
And then we get kind of some of our famous... early in the movie, she said everyone here is going to be dead by dawn. But then we get, sister jumping on the shredder with the shotgun and is like, come get some. Like, you said the thing.
But they didn't say groovy.
There's no groovy. But yeah, she fucking just gets, like, immediately pimp slapped by the monster, and fucking it starts crawling over into the... trying to throw her in the shredder, and she ends up turning the tide. And of course the shredder turns around and starts blowing fucking raining blood back on her. That's where the rest of the 6,500 liters came from. It's like, it's fucking raining blood. Meadow.
Slayer would be proud.
Yeah, that it getting shredded by the fucking... It's always a good movie when someone ends up in a wood chipper. I mean, we saw it in a couple weeks ago when we talked about what the hell was it? The Retaliators movie. It's like, I always love it when someone ends up in the wood chipper.
But you know, the most
Classic.
iconic wood chipper scene to me is still
Fargo?
that fucking Tales from the Crypt episode.
Oh yeah.
Like, my dad would always warn me, he'd be like, all right, we're going to go, grind some limbs. He's like, keep in mind, wood chipper doesn't realize if it's a limb or a bone, so keep your hands away from the spinny bits. And
How
it's
many
always like
horror movies have we seen where someone ends up in a wood chipper?
Tucker and Dale, Tales from the Crypt. I'm sure it's happened either
Those
Friday the 13th or...
Yeah, in the remake, the Friday the 13th remake, there's a wood chipper in that. Our Christmas episode when we talked about Christmas horror movies, one of the whatever Santa Claus movies, the dude got wood chippered.
I mean, it's just one of those, like...
Hell, I think Chucky's even done it. It's like it's fucking iconic.
I mean, it's a trope. Like, if you're gonna show a wood chipper, like, it's not a horror movie until somebody has at least gone through it.
And I love how, like, after they escape, they tie it into the pre-credit, title card sequence. Turns out the girl that was originally possessed also lives in the building and, like, was apparently on, the 5th floor and missed all the shenanigans. And typical fucking teenager shit, like, walks into this garage that is just literally painted with blood and guts, FaceTiming her buddy on her phone and not noticing a damn thing going on around her. Like, there's fucking guts hanging from the light fixture, and she's just like, doo-doo-doo, yeah, I'm gonna pick you up, we're gonna go to the cabin and party and whatnot, and meet my boyfriend and have some drone sex or whatever. And, like, just not notices any of the fucking carnage around her until after she hangs up and is like, wait a minute, what's this? And then we get our fucking camera zoom in on her, like, in typical Evil Dead fashion. But yeah, I kind of, that whole sequence, I'm like, yep, this is a typical dumb teenager here, like, just fucking glued to her phone, like, not zero situational awareness. That's like not notice the gallons of blood on the wall.
So much blood and sinew.
Yeah, and fucking.
But then again, like,
Beth and the child is fucking covered. Imagine, like, walking down the road with a... Oh, yeah, and, like, they go to... fucking the only thing left of the monster is, like, the head, and it starts, like, you're gonna be a horrible mom, just like me. And she's like, fuck you, bitch, and, like, kicks her head the rest of the way into the damn chipper. They're like, all right, we're gonna leave. Let's grab the chainsaw and the shotgun just in case.
somebody's got to come back and clean that up.
fucking
like
hotel or the apartment complex's janitor crew shows up the next morning. It's like, what the fuck? God damn it! Fuck it, they're condemning this place anyway. I ain't cleaning this shit up.
It's only Monday.
And they left the pizza in the garage too, man. Like, you drop the pizza, as long as it doesn't follow the box, it's still good. You can eat, like, squished pizza.
How many times have I scraped the cheese off of the cardboard lid?
Yeah, those kids are fucking soft, man. It's like, we dropped the pizza so we can't eat it. Bullshit, it was still in the box. You didn't drop it on the floor.
Like, there was a time.
Now you just have pizza bowls instead of pizza slices.
Well, I mean, I remember the old school days of ordering pizza. There wasn't, insulated cases and blah, blah, blah. It was, 15 minutes or it was free. So, you never knew what kind of condition your pizza's going to arrive, but you're damn rest assured your pizza was going to be there.
Dude, that's the one thing I miss the most about living out in the fucking woods is, like, I live too far to have pizza delivered. It's like I've not had delivery pizza in, like, fucking 6 years at this point. It's like the convenience of being able to call someone and they bring you food is just like...
Yeah, but at the same time, nowadays, post-COVID, like, I've tried to order Domino's, like, 3 times here in Dawsonville, and, like, after an hour, they'll call you, yeah, our driver's never going to make it, so if you want food tonight, you're going to have to come and get it.
Yeah, I just call it in on my way home from the shop, and I stop and pick it up on the way home, but yeah, it's like, the convenience of, like, waking up and being like, man, I'm hungry. I don't want to go anywhere. Let me call a dude to bring me pizza. When are they going to start doing the drone delivery? That way I can, maybe a drone will make it out this far since I can't get somebody to fucking drive out here.
Yeah, but then you're not going to know if it's an AI Skynet drone or your Amazon drone or, some other drone or, the drones are going to get distracted or their signals mixed with the other. I don't know. Then, are you still on the hook to tip a drone?
Give it a little squirt of oil or something.
Like,
got any Energon cubes?
Just hit him a little WD-40. You're all good now, buddy. You got a little squeak.
Oh. I know some cities got those, like, robot cars that, like, fucking self-driving little cars that show up for your pizza now.
Yeah, I'm starting to see those little, tray robots and more restaurants that, come tableside and like, your food is now ready. Please take your food. Please watch out. Plates are hot.
Yeah, that's fucking weird when you see that.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Bye.
I think Chick-fil-A has those now. I know I've seen one in like the...
They're probably not even cows. They're still cats. That only works in, Eastern, Asian, Korean, Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah, there's like a Japanese, like, it's like a weird fusion restaurant because they have Indian food and Japanese food on the menu. But we went there one night, and they had like a drink bot that would like bring your drinks to your table and shit. I was like, booze bot, I summon thee.
Hi, Joseph. Your drink is... I never told you my name.
Goddamn Skynet. Oh, we've hacked your phone. We know all about you.
We didn't even have to hack your phone. You agreed to a thing, so we just got your data automatically.
Fucking Google. So yeah, with the money this thing is made, we're definitely will get another one. Do you think they keep doing the like kind of unconnected stuff, or do we finally start getting them tying these stories together somehow?
I mean, I think they've done a good job of sort of paying homage. I don't know. It's going to be hard to kind of tie them all together just because, like, these last few films have definitely gone in a much darker direction. And I think you're going to lose that if, the same Ash, reemerges. And
But I don't know. It was kind of funny to see him being him in this grim, dark world. Like, everything else around him is, like, super fucking serious. And he's, like, hitting on Beth or whatever, and making like dumb fucking jokes. I know the kind of like, I kind of want to see that. I think it would be
that
weird.
would almost have to be like, I think, a fan film. I don't think Lionsgate or the big studio is going to be like, yeah, we're totally on board with that. Like,
or him just showing up like at the end and like fucking boomsticking a motherfucker and be like, welcome to the party.
Or
kids.
modern Bruce Campbell. Like, I was kind of disappointed that the old man with the shotgun was not Bruce Campbell. Like, that's kind of what I was, originally thinking was going to happen.
He's the fucking landlord or something.
Yeah. It's like, the shitty landowner, but, he's a shitty landowner because he doesn't want a lot of people there because he knows what's under,
Yeah. Or do we have, like, the new survivors are like, we need to find out more about what we just fucking dealt with. Like, do an internet search and find these stories of Ash and, like, go to him, like, fucking hiding out in his trailer park and going, I seen some shit, kids. Let me tell you about it. Or do we get another, like, Army of Darkness where it's, like, fucking... We get Ash in the 20s now. Since we know he was there for that recording. We get Ash in the fucking priest. He's the one that put the Necronomicon in the fucking bank vault.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that flashback could work where we see him, kind of way back, and then, somehow,
because if he's like telling the story,
and then,
and the
has
story's
to
like from
time
his point of
travel
view,
to like present day, and is like, oh, that's how all of this happened.
or do we even get like kind of Jason X? We get Necronomicon in the future. Some fucker finds somebody's like, we can't let people keep being possessed. Let's launch these fuckers into space, and then some damn space alien or fucking whatever space station finds this probe floating with damn Necronomicons in it, and we get Deadites in space.
Kind of feel like that would be too much like Doom or Aliens at that
I mean,
point.
every like horror franchise is like fucking Jason went to space, Leprechaun went to space. Hell, even what was those little the little furry bastards? Critters went to space. Hell, even
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Hellraiser. One of the Hellraiser movies take place in space. It's like you either die a hero or you live long enough to go to space. Fucking Fast and the Furious went to space.
I mean, they don't call it a space race for nothing, Joe.
Damn it. Why did I not think of that? Fuck. Oh. Do you even remember the 2013 Evil Dead? I remember the kills were awesome. Like,
I remember the
effects
kills
were great.
I remember the walking tree. I remember, grandma tits.
But it wouldn't really, I don't know what that made, but I saw it once in theaters. I think that's all I've ever watched it. I've never every couple of years I'll watch Evil Dead or
but then again,
the original
like,
shit.
Dude, it's been a decade. Like, for us, the OG Evil Dead, and I mean, that's a cult classic. And I don't know that, I'm sure at the time when we talked about it, it was impactful, but a decade
it
has
hasn't
passed.
had the rewatchability that the original films
like
have.
And I'm afraid that this film, even as successful as it is today, if they wait another decade,
it's going to be forgotten again.
And and that's even if the same folks are around a decade from now to remake it, like being real, like
that. They didn't take the Necronomicon with them. It's still in that apartment. So if they come and like fucking level that building, and you see some, I was waiting for like a fucking post-credit scene, which they didn't have. It's like, they level the building, and some construction workers like cleaning up the mess and like moves a rock and like, hey, here's this book.
But you did have a post-credit effect.
What was that?
Just the fly.
Oh, the fly. Because at this point, like,
I mean,
I Google movies before I go in. Does this have a post credits? So I know if I can leave or not. And it's, internet said there was no post credits, so I didn't stick around for The Fly.
But I don't know. I'm like, here the possessions are just very immediate. Like a place like LA County, like that's high density, everything
just
else
spreads like a zombie apocalypse, and it's like fucking Deadite City. We end up with a damn Resident Evil situation real fucking quick.
And maybe that's how we sort of get a tie-in is, it's not just a handful of people that are possessed. Like, there's a mass,
We get a little army of the dead again.
And then, Ash, comes with a band of priests or, something to that effect. And it's like, this is how we deal with deadites, or something to that. I don't know. Like,
we got to fight our way into the city and get the books and destroy them or some shit. We have to bring all 3 books together, and you can't destroy just one. You gotta stack.
But
them.
Are there more than 3 books?
Dude in the recording said 3, so who knows? There could be more. Or does it go digital? Some fucker like scans that shit and uploads it to the internet, and fucking we get Necronomicons all over the world. We get World War Deadite instead of World War Z.
I think I'd take the Z over the Deadites.
At least the zombies stay dead once you kill them. Fucking Deadites just pop back up unless you got a wood chipper laying around. Or a nice flamethrower would probably...
I mean, dude, you're all about prepping. It sounds to me like it's time to get you a wood chipper.
I get a wood chipper and a flamethrower. So what do you think of the bat here?
I like it. It's got a little bit of spice, a little bit of cedar. Not a whole lot on the sweetness. Sort of nutty.
These?
Not those, but this is, got a little bit of a, I don't know.
Walnut?
I don't know what kind of nut. Like, if I grabbed a handful of nuts and put them in my mouth, but not these nuts, this nut, like, I'm sure one of those would jump out at me. But it's realistically not a bad smoke. I
kind of want to try the original now, the regular Murcielago, because it's a much darker cigar. But then again,
this is just one of those kind of cigars that aren't going to be available to just anyone or everybody without either using a TAA brick and mortar avenue that happens to stock them, or an online avenue. And as of late, like the last couple of years, dude, I have not ordered any cigars. Like, my confidence in UPS, the Postal Service, and FedEx is down the shitter.
Fucking jacked up. And also, I spend far too much time at home, so like going out to a cigar shop is like the only social interaction I get working from home. So it's like, I definitely, don't even care to have cigars at the house, because I'm like, I want to get out of the house and have a cigar. But that's all we got for you this week. We'll be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.